Hey guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a knife video for you. And today I've got a first impression and a bit of a discussion and comparison. What we have here is, of course, a Ramon Chavez box. This is from the Ultramar series. And no, I'm not just showing you the same knife that I showed you a week or two ago, which was the 229 Tanto. Now, I've been fortunate enough to get my hands on the Liberation. So there is the knife under discussion for today. And I've got to say, really cool knife and a couple of big surprises. The one thing that I want to do right away is bring in the knife that I did show you just a couple of weeks ago. This, of course, is the Chavez 229 Tanto. This is the 229 Liberation. Now, the naming convention is really difficult. I think the way it works is all of the Ultramars are made by RIA. So the production line is Ultramar, but I could be getting that wrong because the other ones I think were called Street. So anyway, maybe it's Ultramar Street and Ultramar 229, and now we've got Ultramar 229 Liberation. I could be getting that nomenclature messed up. If you want to correct me down in the comments, feel free to do so. But I have to say that I've been a fan of Ramon Chavez for a long time. I handled back in the day the Midtech 228, which was fantastic. And then when they came out with the Street, I was interested, and I almost bought one on a number of occasions, but frankly, they were just too small for me. And so then when I heard about the 229 coming out, I was super excited. I did have one. Most of you will know that. I had the full titanium drop point in the 229. And then when these came available, when they re-released them with the G10, I really wanted to try the G10. It just felt like it made sense for this knife, and it absolutely does. Now, since this was available, I was really wanting to get my hands on the Liberation, and so fortunately have been able to do so. And let me say this, it is really, like, truly fortunately that I've been able to do so. Justin over at White Mountain Knives does help me out with some of this stuff. And look, this is like a dream. Like, when I first got into knives, honestly, I never thought I would own anything more expensive than a Para 2. And then when I first got a ZT, I never thought I would own anything more expensive than that. So the fact that I have been able to own and handle and share with you guys the knives that I have is truly, it's beyond what I ever thought would happen with this channel. So I've just got to put that out there, that having two of these, it's not lost on me that I'm extremely fortunate to be able to own not one, but two of these fantastic knives. Really cool. And I understand just how fortunate I am to be able to have this really unique opportunity. So let me get this one out of the way for a second and take a look at the Ultramar. Want to go over quickly sort of the details on this, beginning with the M390 drop point blade. Look at the beautiful grind on that. Yeah, I will admit it's not quite as impressive as the grind on the Tanto. That is really something, but this is just clean and beautiful. The dual multi-directional grind lines there just look fantastic, and Riot always kills it with their grinds. They really do, and this is no exception. And so then we've got the Chavez little key up here and the blade steel on the other side. Really nicely done, not overly, the key doesn't take up a lot of blade or anything like that, so really attractive. M390 steel, I don't know if I mentioned that, fairly thin behind the edge, which is pretty welcome for a knife that's sort of in this genre, sort of the heavier built style of knife. Thumb stud deployment, of course, this is on bearings. And very enjoyable, nice stiff detent there, really nice. I'm gonna say the clip is a little longer here, so it's not as frequent that I end up with my fingers on the lock bar, but I'm sure if you did get your fingers on the lock bar, it would be a little tougher to open, so I'll put that out there right away. Titanium frame lock, of course, the fantastic Chavez clip. In this case, it's sort of elongated, all right? Titanium backspacer there, and then the texture G10 on the show side. So that's kind of a quick rundown of everything that we've got going on here. Size and weight, 8¼ inches, which is quite nice. Now I've got to say this is really impressive. So 8¼ inches, 3 11/16 on the blade length. So the blade to handle ratio here is pretty darn good. 4.5 inches closed. In fact, it's just like a hair over 4.5 inches in the closed position. And this particular knife is fairly slim in terms of how much space it takes up in the pocket, which is kind of impressive. What else? What numbers have I not given you? Oh, 3 7/8 inch grip area and 4.9 ounces. So almost 4 inches of grip area here. And then the weight on this is under 5 ounces, which is pretty darn comfortable. You know, frankly, I would consider this to be a pretty nice, well-balanced, clean-looking knife. Overall, my initial thoughts are, yeah, just well put together, really enjoyable folding knife to carry around and cut stuff with. I mean, it's just all the things that I would expect from a high-end knife out of Riyadh. So really, really good. I do want to, though, point out that this is not what I thought. When I first saw these Liberations, I kind of just assumed, and I should have looked more closely at the pictures, but I kind of just assumed that they were essentially the same as the other 229s, just with a different blade shape. But that is not the case at all. When you take a close look at these side by side, you can probably already start to see that there are some significant differences. Of course, the hollow grind being one of them, but let's kind of look through some of the things here that are worth noticing. Check out the thumb studs when they're side by side. Much bigger thumb stud on the 229 Tanto. We've got jimping over here, no jimping at all on this side. All right, if I close these two knives, and actually let's put them back down so it's a little easier to see. Look at how much slimmer the Liberation is. It's a much sort of svelter knife. So I will say this, if you're one of those people that, likes the design of Ramon Chavez does, but you want something a little leaner, the Liberation is probably a really good option for you. And of course, the G10 helps as well. That does lighten up the design on both of these. All right. So the handle thickness is different. We've noticed the thumb stud is different. Look at the finger choil as well. So when you grip these knives, you can really, really feel a difference in how these kind of grip your hand. The front choil here on the Liberation is much deeper and really, really sort of sinks your finger in there. Well, this choil is a little more generous. Both are quite comfortable. All right. You definitely notice the lack of jimping over here. All right. But it kind of makes up for it by deepening that choil a little bit. So they do feel a little bit different in hand, but both are quite comfortable. So different choil, different grip area. There's a little more grip area on the Liberation, not a whole lot. We've already pointed out that when closed, the Liberation is quite a bit smaller, but I will close them to show you this other interesting thing. Look at the clips on the two of them, right? If you saw them separately, and I'll admit, I don't think, maybe I'm crazy. Maybe I just missed it, but I don't think I've seen a side-by-side comparison of these two knives. And so I think I'm going to save some weight, and after I've spent a little bit of time carrying these and using them, I'll do a full side-by-side comparison, including some cut testing and, how they go in and out of the pocket and how they feel in hand and all that kind of stuff. So should be an interesting video. But for now, I'm just wanting to point out that these are significantly different knives. And so, if you're thinking that I've already got this, it's exactly the same as this, or vice versa, they're similar for sure. And I'm not necessarily saying that everyone has to have two. You have to be kind of a fan of these style, this design, and I definitely am. But these are much more different than I had initially thought. I really did think that this was just a different blade on the same handle, but not the case at all. These are quite a bit different. So Wanted to share that with you guys. I can't really tell you right off the hop which one I like better. I will just say I love both of them. I'm a big fan of this design overall, and really of most of Ramon Chavez's stuff. I love that sort of beefy look, the heavy construction. I really enjoy it. Um, so let me give this some thought, and I'll talk about what I prefer between the two of these. But I do enjoy both of them quite a bit, and I look forward to using them, carrying them, and then reporting back to you guys which one I like the most. Let me know what you guys feel down in the comments. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and don't forget to check out the channel sponsor. Big thanks to Justin over at White Mountain Knives for making this possible. We'll talk to you soon.